An extra docket. That you could
Get that, and then I'll print off a copy.
All right, so we'll go ahead and call the case of People versus Cheyenne, Roslin, Chippewa, file 253532 ST1. State time of sentencing. The conviction here is failing to report an accident, a 90-day maximum misdemeanor. Ms. Chippewa is here with Mr. Travis. We didn't get a full pre-sentence report here. We referred the case to probation for a restitution inquiry. But Ms. Chippewa, this no PSI sheet has been prepared with some very brief factual data. Have you had the chance to review this?
Yes.
Okay. Is this factually accurate, or are there changes, corrections, or additions to make to it?
It's accurate.
All right. By way of elocution, then, are there comments, Mr. Travis?
Yes, Your Honor. Obviously, Ms. Chippewa understands she shouldn't have done this. This was a parking lot situation. I think it was at the Great Wolf Lodge. It wasn't very serious, but did come into contact with another car, and they got good video there. She acknowledged that she just didn't really know how to handle it and made a mistake. Unfortunately for her, she's already had some outside consequences of this. She's intending to start at the academy through NFC, and has already had to disclose this to them and talk to them about this. Because I suggested I didn't think it would preclude her, but she probably really needs to get ahead of this, and she's already started that, and it's not going to preclude her from doing that, but they're explaining that she's going to have to write explanations and fill this out, and it's not going to be, it's going to come back when she's out trying to get hired. Shouldn't probably preclude her, but she's going to have to explain this again. So it's going to have some consequences. She definitely regrets it, but all in all, I think she's she's employed at Williams, works there, and she's got plans to better her future and get a better career than her pretty decent job now. So all in all, I think she's doing everything we want someone to do, but she made a bad decision this day, and she knows it.
All right, thank you, Mr. Travis. So, Ms. Chippewa, any comments you'd like to make?
Like Kyle said, I made a mistake and I wasn't quite sure what to do during that moment since it was my first time. But for next time, I would know the right thing to do. And I'm sorry.
So you knew you backed into this other car, right?
Yes.
I mean, did you get out to look to see if there's any damage, or think about going back into the Great Wolf Lodge and asking that the owner be tracked down?
I didn't consider that because I was with my 10-year-old niece and I didn't want to scare her or, get police involved. So I just wasn't quite sure what to do at the moment.
Okay, so what did you think was going to happen?
Nothing, to be honest.
Well, all right. So hopefully you've learned from this going forward. If you have the most minor fender bender, you call the police. Had you done so, you wouldn't be here today. You wouldn't have this conviction and have all these collateral issues that Mr. Travis has mentioned. So, and you're fortunate this does not go to the Secretary of State to affect your driver's license. And what academy? Are you talking about the Maritime Academy?
The police academy.
Police Academy, okay. All right, well, that's a good goal. Hopefully that'll work out for you. It seems like it will. Just have to be open and honest about this situation. There is no restitution. It was the purpose of sending this to probation. Looks like insurance covered the damage to the victim's vehicle. And there was not a victim's impact statement submitted either by the victim. So, all right, I don't see the need for probation. There's a $100 fine, $400 for costs, $75 crime victim's fee, $50 state fee, $275 attorney fee, and no restitution and no jail. So it's fines and cost only. Let's see, you can contact the court Monday to make arrangements to pay these over the phone, or if you wanted to wait a little while today until your paperwork's processed, you could address these things today. It's up to you, okay? All right, so you're all set. Good luck going forward. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Travis.
Thank you. Did you read through the docket?
Where did I put you? All right, we'll call the next case, People versus Isaac Thomas Hodges, file 253554. Mr. Hodges is here in person with Mr. Travis. Thank you. All right, so it's the date and time of sentencing. The conviction here is disorderly person, jostling. And it was basically converted from the original charge of assault and battery. Mr. Hodges, have you had the chance to review this pre-sentence report that was prepared by probation? Okay, is this document factually accurate, or are there any changes, corrections, or additions you'd like to have made? It's correct, okay, very good. So then by way of elocution, Mr. Travis, are there comments you'd like to make?
Yes, Your Honor. Yeah, as we, and Your Honor probably remembers, she's got a pretty good memory. At the plea, it came out that Mr. Hodges and this gentleman had, basically the gentleman had been harassing him for some time. Mr. Hodges acknowledges that this isn't how he should respond. He was honest and said he might respond again, particularly if the gentleman did some of the things he did. That's where I think continued counseling would be appropriate. The only thing I kind of look at it and not 100% on is maintaining 30 hours of work a week. On the other hand, they say, oh, work towards a GED. I think that is probably doable for Mr. Hodges. I'm not sure he's got, he may struggle to get and maintain employment. But I guess we'd have to see that. But that's my only concern, because I know, I don't think it says here, are you getting disability?
Not yet.
In the process of applying for disability, because I do know there are some limitations there. But otherwise, I think that the recommendation is appropriate. We would ask the court to follow it. Mr. Hodges knows he shouldn't have done this. He unfortunately was pushed to his limit with this gentleman. And as he indicated, he hadn't involved law enforcement, but he had tried to reach out and talk to the department management and even security. I think security became aware because he indicated witnessed some of this. That's why it got reported. But he knows he shouldn't have done it. I think that's the most important piece. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Travis. So let's see, Mr. Hodges, any comments you'd like to make?
No.
All right. Let's see, this is set for 9 o'clock. Okay, it's 9:20. The victim is not here. It's Thomas McDonald. So, Mr. Hodges, it's unfortunate that Mr. McDonald apparently treated you this way. So sorry about that, but like Mr. Travis said, you can't react this way. I understand that you were apparently pushed to your limit here, but again, you just can't act that way. And I think you realize that, and this will be a lesson for you going forward. So, all right. And I just want to know too, probation in your interview, they feel you were very truthful and accepted responsibility for what occurred here. So that too indicates you recognize that this was wrong, and you want to make your best efforts to turn this around to be a positive thing through counseling. So I agree with the recommendation of probation for 365 days. There's a $100 fine. Are you able to work at all?
I am, and I'm working on that with Mission Works.
Okay. Okay.
But I'm also going back to school next month as well. So full time.
To high school or?
Yeah, I'm finishing my
Okay. All right, do you have plans after high school to go to college?
Hopefully.
Okay, good. So you can do that too. I'm going to reduce the court cost though to $300, $75 crime victims fee, $50 state fee, $275 attorney fee. And while on probation, may not use recreational marijuana, not to possess firearms or other weapons, nor reside where those things are present, not to behave in a violent, threatening, intimidating, or harassing way toward anyone, be respectful of all court employees, service and care providers, 10 cooperate, complete, pay any fees with individual counseling with Edward Narea, N-A-R-E-A.
Yeah, I just found out.
If you haven't already done so, you have to disclose the facts of this case to him, okay? So he has complete knowledge of what happened here, that way he can best help you. His counseling, though, should include anger management if he feels that that's appropriate. That you work towards your GED and that you continue working with Michigan Works, okay? Help you find a job. So let's see, no contact directly or indirectly with Thomas McDonald. And I remember asking you at the plea in this case, you no longer live at East Bay Flats, right?
That is correct.
Okay, and where do you live now?
920 Grant Street.
Which street?
Grant.
Okay. All right, so it's likely you'll never run into him again, okay. Credit for time served is recommended, and if you have contact with probation, if contact with police while on probation, you need to let your agent know that, okay? So I think you're gonna handle the matter responsibly, like the report indicates, and I think you can be successful here. So we just need Mr. Hodges to contact probation later today. Okay?
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Good luck, sir. All right, so public case, People versus Nicholas Ryan Atwood. This is file 253488. Atwood is here. Ms. Claxton, date time of sentencing and conviction in this case is attempted assault with a dangerous weapon. It is a 1-year maximum misdemeanor. Thank you, Mr. Atwood, if you have the chance to review this pre-sentence report that's
Yes, Your Honor.
is this document factually accurate, or are there any changes, corrections, or additions that you'd like to have made?
It's accurate, Your
All right,
Judge, I guess I'd like to make a couple
Sure.
of corrections if I could. Just to update the court, Mr. Atwood has been staying in the Tri-State area. It's my understanding he's got a place to stay at Safe Harbor right now, and he is working. He just got a job for Tradesman International. He's subcontracted through Arrow Roofing locally here, Your Honor. And the other correction I wanted to make is under additional information. For health, it says unknown. I think it's important for the pre-sentence report to reflect that he does have a diagnosis of bipolar.
okay, I'll add that. All right, so with that, is the document complete?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so then by way of elocution, other comments here, Ms. Claxton?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Here, I guess I want to address everything. I think there's a lot going on in the pre-sentence report. As far as the underlying case, in my conversations with Mr. Atwood, sort of from the start of this case, he's wanted to take responsibility for his actions. He was very grateful to receive a misdemeanor offer in this case. He did accept that offer at the preliminary examination. He realized through this case that he did have an issue with alcohol. And so he did voluntarily put himself in a rehab. He completed that rehab, and he's now attending AA meetings to keep up with his sobriety. The other part of it is that he does have this diagnosis of bipolar. He does indicate that he is a patient at CMH, that he does do counseling, and he does see a psychiatrist once a month. And so we sort of have a co-occurring issue going on here, and I think that Mr. Atwood is taking the appropriate steps to try to correct the issues that he has. I know it's noted in the report that he didn't have a great PSI appointment. I don't know specifically what happened. I think with his bipolar, it's my experience he has sort of a bigger personality, he can get really passionate. I think maybe that had something to play with how he was acting, not to make excuses. Of course, he's working on his behaviors and he wants to not be put in this situation again. But I think that that could have played a role. He also indicates that he had followed up and called probation, and he swears that they said 1 o'clock for his appointment. So he was surprised when he got there and they told him that he was late for his appointment. Your Honor, he is staying in the area. He does have a good job now. I guess with all of that, Your Honor, we would ask that the court consider probation with some services. He does report to me that he did complete his last probation, and he said that he actually completed probation early, that he's always paid off his fines and costs. So Your Honor, we're looking for a probationary sentence here. As far as the fines and costs go, although he does have a good job, he is still staying at State Harbor. He's looking for permanent housing. So we ask that the court take that into consideration. Any break in fines and costs will be appreciated. And also note that he does have good family support, and his mother is here in the courtroom today, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Paxton. So, Mr. Atwood, any comments you'd like to make?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Morning.
I would like to say, back on December 12th, I was going to celebrate for getting a job here locally, and the incident occurred and I got out of hand, you know what I mean? And at first I thought that, I wasn't justified, but as I, recollected the discovery and looked over, took responsibility for who I am, because I felt disgusted for my behavior, you know what I mean? And I apologize to the probation also for showing up late for my PSI. That wasn't intended. That's why I had called early in the morning. First thing at 8 o'clock in the morning, that was the first thing I did. I was called and I verified twice. Is it 11 or 1? And she said 1 o'clock. I showed up at 1, and then the lady said it was 11. So I'm sorry for the miscommunication. I can only take responsibility again for the miscommunication. It's my trial, my part, and I can only do the best I can. Doing everything to be proactive on a daily basis to help myself, and I apologize also to the probation officer for if she felt offended. That's not my intent. I mean no ill intent, and I just mean the best, and I'm here to move forward.
So why this event happened in the first place on December 16th at Dillinger's? I mean, you were totally out of control, and it was dangerous behavior. You had a knife and threatened people with it. What was that all about?
I felt that I needed to defend myself, and I felt that I needed, and so I did something irrational, and I, unfortunately, if it wasn't for the alcoholic beverages, that reaction would have been the same reaction. You see what I'm saying? How I handle a situation when I'm sober and talk to somebody and discuss the situation that might happen on me spitting in the cup. You know what I mean? Because that's all this comes down to, spitting in a cup. If I would have been sober in that situation, it would have been dealt with a lot better in that situation. But unfortunately, I was inebriated and I handled the situation very poorly. And now I'm in this situation now, and I just got to take responsibility.
So I just want to understand you. You're saying that due to intoxication,
Yeah, I made a poor drastic decision.
and that if you were not intoxicated, this wouldn't have happened. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. If I were to look past my previous 38 years, you know what I mean? I don't have any other assault charges. I don't have any other aggressive charges. I don't get in fights with people because I'm able to resolve my situation with words. Sometimes I have to walk away from the situation because the situation gets bigger than what it's supposed to be. But if I'm not in my right mind, because I'm also bipolar, and I'm dual diagnosed in that situation. So my bipolar mixed with alcohol is making the situation even worse. Do you understand me? And I'm not, I'm not, taking the time to consider what's coming. You know what I mean? It's like a ticking time bomb in that situation. When I'm sober, I have a fuse, and that fuse allows me to diffuse the situation. But when I'm inebriated, that fuse is short, and I can't diffuse the situation, and I just do a drastic decision, and that's unfortunately what happened. I can only be humble about what I've done and come to you today and and admit my faults. That's all I can do.
So, okay, it sounds like you're acknowledging you have a problem with alcohol, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Um,
I haven't had a drink since January 2nd.
okay. I don't think you've been testing.
No, they didn't have me test or anything. That wasn't part of my bond or anything. They just told me to stay. They told me not to run. They told me not to stay out of these contacts and all that.
All right. So, are you really a patient at CMH?
Yes, sir. I've been a part of CMH since I was about 16 years old.
But here in Traverse City,
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
who's your therapist?
They're getting that situated because I just got moved back in the last 2 weeks and everything's I gotta go for a certain appointment in order for that to get assigned. I didn't know I was gonna re-move back to Traverse City. I apologize for the time right now, but I was living in Port Huron. And then you guys had called and said you guys are pressing the charges. So then the arraignment happened. That was the day before I went to rehab. Okay, so then I went to rehab, I get out. I come here for the PSI. And I had to borrow money from family in order to get here. I thought in my mind, I was gonna go back to Port Huron because of my job. But you guys had court here 2 weeks later, and that'd be pointless for me to borrow another $500 from my family for when I got court 2 weeks later, so I just stayed here.
All right.
But then I found a job here at Tradesman International, subcontracted to Arrow Roofing. Just recently, interview was last week. I got hired on, my first day was Wednesday. The weather's climate, is place of bowling, us commercial roofing. We're doing all the schools in Traverse City, Oak Rapids. And so I just got everything in situation. So I'm proactive on a daily basis. I have goals, you know what I mean? Today I have to attack a CMA Social Security, and I address those goals and I get them done every day. But everything moves at a certain process. It just doesn't happen overnight, unfortunately. I have to wait for CMH to schedule a certain interview process, and then I have to wait a month in order for them to address who my therapist is.
So when you were living in Port Huron,
Yes,
were you going to CMH on a consistent basis?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Are you taking any medication?
I was taking lithium. But I don't, me and, me and the psychiatrist, see, all my life I've been diagnosed bipolar. But since I was young, I believed that I'm not bipolar. I believe that I'm borderline disorder. So right now we're in the mix of actually fully diagnosing the situation because the symptoms are very, very similar to bipolar, but there's a slight difference because they got a borderline disorder. They look for trouble because that's the only attention they know how to get.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, all right. So the pre-sentence report indicates that you intend to go back to Port Huron and live with friends.
Not no more. I had a place to live down there and I had a job down there. But now I've got a new place here. I've got probation up here if that's a possibility. I've got a job locally, like I was saying, that I showed her my work report. I've got work every day for the next 6 months here in the area for all the local schools and stuff doing roofing. And I got safe harbor, so I'm gonna stay at safe harbor, save up my money, get a local apartment, get a vehicle if need be. It is a travel job, so eventually, once the work runs up here, I can travel elsewhere. And if probation is already done, I can move necessarily, you know.
So your criminal record involves 7 different states.
Yeah, I'm a very adventurous, sorry, sir.
It sounds like you don't stay put for very long.
For a long time, I ran from myself, not knowing everywhere I go, I carry myself. So I thought if I changed the people, places, and things, that everything would change around, right? Not knowing that I carry who I am personally and everything that I have to bring to the table with me everywhere I go. So irregardless of me changing people, places, and things, those things bother me because I haven't been willing to change myself. It wasn't until the time about the last 2 years that I've actually taken the time to actually start pursuing what I need to do to help myself, and benefit myself, and become an actual citizen and become, I'm trying to find this like happy place, I don't know. I've lived in 28 states. You've got 7 convictions in 7 states, but what about the other 21 states I've lived in? No convictions. You understand? So I've lived in a lot of places, I've done a lot of things, and I'm just trying to find myself, you know what I mean? But a lot of traumatic events have happened throughout my life, and it took a toll. And sometimes because of my bipolar or my psychological diagnosis, I make drastic decisions like I did December 12th. And it rendered my freedom, or it rendered, something that, like once upon a time, sorry to get out of hand real quick. This is the passionism that got me kicked out of probation because I tried to tell a story. But I got once offered, do you want to be a part of your son's life, or do you want to be a part of the streets? And I chose the streets. And I've had to live with that for 18 years now. My son turns 18 years old this year, and I've never met him because of that one decision. You understand me? And here, once again, I made a bad decision, and I'm trying to learn from it by doing what's better for myself. By understanding I've got more potential than this, as long as I do what's necessary for myself to stay sober, go in the right path, and steer proactive.
So what makes you change and want to address issues now?
Well, it's not now. It's been for the last 5 years. I got a charge 6 years ago for cocaine possession. I haven't done cocaine since then. You know what I mean? So just because I have one problem in my life and I solve that area doesn't mean I don't have other problems in my life that I'm trying to solve. I'm still trying to work through life and do everything accordingly. But problems, all right, just like the AA, okay? In AA, we explain that you're an onion because once you reveal one layer, there's more layers underneath it. Once you do another layer, guess what? There's another layer. And you got to keep working on yourself. It's an ongoing process.
So, I mean, either you really want to turn things around now, or you're just asking for probation to stay out of jail.
I mean,
So, hang on just a second. So, Ms. Morton's here for probation. I think this is Ms. Traska's matter, but Ms. Morton, anything you'd like to add in this matter?
It is Ms. Traska. She's in a different court. She did, give me some notes that, he was yelling during the PSI, stating that there's people out there that do worse things than him. He shouldn't have been charged. He disputed his whole criminal history with her during the PSI. Just listening to him today, I have serious concerns regarding reading his PSI, reading the notes she gave me. He seems to be saying the right things in front of you today. But then also says things that have me concerned as a probation officer. I know he told Ms. Traska that he had no intention, did not want to stay in this town. So I don't know if he has a job, if he's actually wanting to stay. I have concerns with this individual.
All right, thank you. So does your mother live here, or did she come up from Port Huron?
She came to see me for this event.
Your Honor, I guess I'll just add, he did show me his work schedule. If the court needs him to pull that up, I guess to verify that he is working.
What's the last job you had?
The last job I had, I was working with Jerusalem Stone and Masonry down in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
So how long has it been since you've worked a job?
Well, I worked some part-time gigs. What I like to do is I go on Indeed. Michigan is really hard to find work because of my convictions. That's why I was very fortunate to get this job. But I go on Craigslist a lot and I do like gigs. So I'll hold the sign for a day, make $80 or something, you know what I mean? Just a little part-time work to get by because I can't find full-time employment. You know what I mean? Sometimes I do volunteer work, sometimes, it just depends on the day,
Yes, Jim confirmed that he did.
I got that.
Well, I don't know either. I mean, wouldn't you rather just do some jail time, get it done, and head back to Port Huron instead of?
I have nothing back and forth here, and that's the thing is there was, in the 10 questions that were asked at the PSI, not one question ever, my voice never got out. This is the same voice that I talked to that lady, you know what I mean? And unfortunately, this is going on, and I never told her that I was permanently going back to Fort Hunt. I explained to her the same thing that I explained to you, that if, because I don't have $500 to get back, you know what I mean? I would have been stuck in Fort Huron again, and I have no homeless shelter in Fort Huron, I have nowhere to stay. I burnt all my bridges down there from my previous year. So that's why I moved to Traverse City, because I was trying to get a job at Great Wolf Lodge initially back in December. But then I got a job at the car wash, and I went to celebrate an incident.
All right, so this is what we'll do. Place you on probation for 1 year. There's a $100 fine, $800 court cost, $75 crime victims fee, $50 state fee, $700 attorney fee. While on probation, may not consume or possess alcohol, legal drugs, controlled substances that you don't have a script for, no mood or mind altering substances, no recreational marijuana. 4 times monthly random PBTs, twice monthly random UAs, no bars, casinos, or places that serve alcohol by the glass. Obviously cannot go back to years or having contact with the victims here. You didn't do much time in treatment. It looks like you did 13 days. That's not much of a treatment plan. So in I order that you get a substance use assessment, follow all recommendations in that assessment, including mental health and substance use issues. Get into CMH and obtain a counselor and a psychiatrist. Take all medications as prescribed. Let's see. Maintain employment of at least 30 hours a week. Verify all housing that you have. So safe harbor is fine for now, but if you, that's temporary. In fact, I think they might be closing soon. Verify your next housing with your probation agent. Not to act in a violent, threatening, intimidating, harassing way toward anyone. Not to possess weapons of any kind for any reason. I didn't say it. Don't engage in any threatening, violent, harassing behavior toward anybody. All right. So the recommendation here is 180 days jail with credit for 3. So I'm going to order that, and your probation will involve community corrections placement if you want to do it. Okay. So this gives you a test. If you want to do better and change your life, like you're saying, then you'll have an opportunity on community corrections. Community corrections is a more intense program than probation. The community corrections officer will come and see you at the jail. They'll get you out much earlier than the 180 days and put you on a treatment plan. If you don't like their treatment plan that they'll present to you in writing, just tell them and you can finish out the 180. If you're on community corrections and you mess it up, then you get the full 180 then. So this is your chance to turn things around like you want, but if you don't do it, then you get the recommended 180 days jail. Okay. All right, so you can have a seat. Thank you. Thanks, Ms. Claxton. All right, Mr. Williams, you have a matter? Public case of People versus Jessica Lapham. This is file 24/29/26 SD1. Lapham is here with Mr. Williams in person for sentencing. The conviction here is maybe a C. All right. So Ms. Lapham, have you had the chance to review this pre-sentence report and attached substance use assessment? Are these documents factually accurate, or are there any changes, corrections, or additions to make to them? All right, very good. So by way of elocution, are there comments then, Mr. Williams?
It was clearly a bumpy road on bond in this case. However, it seems to be doing well on the ankle monitor. And he's highly motivated to participate in probation, so I would say let's hope he does forward at this point. Not her, I mean, she's here, she has a son, she has responsibilities. Sources available. Let's hope for the best.
Okay, so I agree with that. Is Laffin, any comments you'd like to make?
We're all really thankful for the resources I have continued to use, including my addiction counselor and SUDS and AA, and our church has just been such a help to both me and my son through this whole thing. And again, I'm just really thankful that this situation sort of all kind of came to a head so I can move on with my life in a really positive way. So it's absolutely stinks and I feel terrible about it, but I am thankful it's pushing me toward the place that I want to be. So.
Okay, so this will provide you with a chance to do that, okay? And you clearly need to be on probation and be taking advantage of all the resources that are offered to you, because there is a severe alcohol use disorder here, that's clear, and you agree with that, right?
Yes.
All right, so we'll place you on probation as recommended for 365 days. $200 fine, $800 court costs, $75 crime victims fee, $50 state fee, $275 attorney, pardon me, that's no attorney fee, $125 arrest fee, and then $22.30 is a blood fee. Now, while on probation, may not consume or possess alcohol, legal drugs, controlled substances that you don't have a script for, no mood or mind altering substances, no recreational marijuana. Verify any prescriptions that you have with your probation agent, not to reside where alcohol or illegal drugs are present, no bars, casinos, or places that serve alcohol with glass, not to behave in a violent, threatening, intimidating, or harassing way toward anyone, be respectful of all court employees, service and care providers, not to leave the state without the consent of the court, continue on the CAM device. Apparently you're doing really well with that. And how long have you had that? Since early?
November, December, somewhere in there.
No, I think it was early February we dealt. Yeah. So it's been about 6 weeks and there have been no issues to my knowledge, so that's good. So we'll continue the CAM for now. Going forward, if you continue to do well on that, then that can be released and you can be on some schedule of testing, discretionary drug and alcohol tests, outpatient substance abuse counseling, continue with the SUDS program. At this time, you've spent a fair amount of time in jail, 18 days, so I'm gonna, and you've done well since those bond violations that led to the 18 days. So there'll be credit for time served. Of course, if there's a probation violation, though, you could get further time, okay? Notify probation if you have contact with law enforcement while on probation, not to operate a motor vehicle without a valid license, registration, and insurance, nor the presence of alcohol or an illegal drug. So I think that completes the sentence. Again, this is an opportunity to turn things around in a positive way, and doing well in the CAM for the last 6 weeks. Is a positive step in the right direction, okay? So the last thing is we need you to call probation today between 1 and 3. And if you have a copy of the pre-sentence report, the bottom of the recommendations is the phone number, plus Mr. Williams can give it to you too. All right, so you're all set. So good luck going forward. Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Williams.
Yeah, I have.
We're good.
All right, so Mr. Challender, we're waiting for Mr. Hubble to start your sentencing. And then Ms. Randall, you have a motion to set aside 2 convictions. The motion is set for 10 o'clock. So we need to wait until 10 because the prosecutor is probably going to appear here. So for right now, we're in a holding pattern. So we'll just mute. Can I approach you? Sure.
Yeah, then he retired and he was CO for a while. Yeah. Then he got tired of CO life and. Okay, you gotta turn left. Yep. Yeah.
Mr. Challender, Mr. Hubble didn't know, wasn't aware you were in jail. I think you just recently went to jail like 2 days ago or something. But anyway, Mr. Hubble's going to come over and talk to you about the pre-sentence report and the sentencing, okay?
Okay.
All right. We'll see you soon.
Thank you. I had already talked to my 1040, my probation violation member, so did want to talk to her in person here, but this more. Well, it might be with the other.
I think it might be.
Back and forth.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's with Judge Cooney.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. I have to look at my calendar. I can't keep track.
I know you're busy, so.
Thank you.
But we're all here. Yep.
Yep.
Take care. Yep. All right. So I'm going to call the case of Megan Randall. This is a set aside hearing. Ms. Randall has two cases. Morning. Ms. Randall has two cases, file 13, 4376, 18, 8814. This is a request to set aside two convictions. The conviction in October of 2013 is attempted resisting obstructing an officer, and then the conviction in 2018 is domestic violence. Okay. So I'm going to mute the jail here. There we go. So the Attorney General has responded to your requests, Ms. Randall, and they indicate that as long as the good cause requirements of the statute are met, they're not objecting to setting aside these convictions. And the local prosecutor filed a response indicating the same thing. So I have just a few questions to run through here, but I first have to swear you in. So could you raise your right hand, please?
Okay.
Do you swear affirm the testimony you're about to provide in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, all right, very good. So you can go ahead and lower your hand if you want. So let's see. You don't have any felony convictions, right?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. And before this request, you haven't had an assaultive crime conviction set aside, right?
No, not at all.
Okay. And do you have any pending criminal charges?
No.
All right. Let's see. All right. So were you placed on probation for these cases, ma'am?
I believe I was, and I ended up doing 28 days in jail instead of going on 2 years probation, if I remember right.
Remember which case that was?
The 2018 one, I think.
Okay. So that sounds like it was a probation violation, is that correct?
It may have been, yes. And then I just decided to do that instead. My main reason for this, Your Honor, is I want to work with adult foster care, like my grandmother did, and I was in one, and then this record stopped me from staying at the job, So they're waiting for me to see if I can get it cleared because I really love the job and I feel like it's a big career path that I want to go on, like my grandma did. So that is my main reason for trying to get these set aside. Because I think I can make a big difference in adult foster care. I really do.
Okay. So if you could briefly let me know what you've accomplished since 2018.
Well, I have been a very good mother to my little girl. She's 9 years old. She goes to Fife Lake Elementary. I have put my heart and soul out on property that we have that I'm trying to finish someday here soon, as soon as I possibly can. I have not been drinking. I have not had any issues with that. I've been, I actually got off medication recently that I don't feel is good for me that I was prescribed, and I've been doing really well without that. It's been all about clear mind this year. I've just been myself, happy, no issues, no anger. I just really want to get back to that AFC home. I miss them very much, and it was all ladies there, and I got really close to them. And then
Okay. How long have you worked?
I was there for
Sorry, how
about,
long?
sorry, Your
Go
Honor.
ahead.
I was there for about 4
Sorry.
weeks, almost 4 weeks. Then the boss came back and she had to run all of our records. We were all new employees. And this popped up, and I didn't realize that it was going to pop up because it doesn't at the school background. Because I do things at my daughter's school. I go on field trips and that. But it showed up for her, so she just told me, Meg, just go see if you can get it cleared. If you can come right back. And I just seen one of her employees the other day. And it was a wonderful job. It was a great job. And it was more about doing the job than the money. It wasn't about the money for me. I really made a
Okay.
difference
All right.
in their lives.
All right. And it sounds like you're involved in your daughter's schooling. Is that right?
Yes, and I'm also a Girl Scouts troop leader starting this year as well. I forgot to
Okay.
mention that. Yeah.
So that's great. Okay. And it sounds like you own property in Fife Lake. Is that right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, the Attorney General and the local prosecutor are not objecting to setting these aside. I think you've accomplished a lot since 2018. So I'm going to go ahead and sign an order setting aside these convictions.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So we'll get this, we can send this to you or email it to you, or you can stop at the court today and pick up a copy so you can present it to your employer, okay?
Okay. I guess if you could mail it, might be easier, but
Sure, we can do that. We can do that.
okay. Thank you so
So,
much.
okay, so I think you've learned from those cases in the past and it won't happen
Definitely.
again, and you're on a productive path now, so that's really good. So you deserve to have them set aside, okay?
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much.
All right, thank you, and good luck, man.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too, thank you. All right, we'll call the next case Christopher Kelliston, file 98, 8458 SD1. This also is a set-aside case. So Mr. Kelliston is requesting that an operating while intoxicated conviction from June 15, 1999 be set aside. The Attorney General has responded in this case too. They have no objection to the conviction being set aside if the good cause portions of the statute are met, and the local prosecutor in Grand Traverse County indicates the same thing in their response. So, okay, Mr. Kelliston, I'll swear you in here for some brief testimony. Can you raise your right hand, please? You swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Mr. Kelliston?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can, yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yep, I do.
Okay, very good. You can lower your hand if you want. So now you don't have any felony convictions, right?
I had one set aside about 4 months ago.
Okay. But the statute inquires about whether a person had 3 or more convictions for felonies, and you had one, right?
Right.
Okay. that's fine. Have you ever had any convictions for an assault of crime set aside?
I have not, no.
Okay. Do you have any pending criminal charges at this time?
I do not.
Okay. Have you had a prior operating while intoxicated case set aside in the past?
No, I have not.
Okay, so this is quite a long time ago, but can you just give me a little bit of information about your situation now? Are you employed? Do you have a family? Things of that nature?
Yep. I was married in 2011. I have two daughters that I'm putting through school downstate in Ann Arbor. And constantly employed. I am a project manager for William Shore Construction.
Okay.
So very,
So you've definitely accomplished a lot since this conviction occurred. So I am going to find that the good cause portions of the statute have been met. And I just signed an order setting aside the conviction. So we'll get this out to you later today, or if you wanted to, you could stop at the court and pick up a copy, but we'll mail it to you in any event. Okay, sir?
oh, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. So good luck going forward. So
I
feel free
appreciate
to sign it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so there's that. All right, so we're just waiting for Mr. Hall. Criminal 11. All right, so I guess we're in a holding pattern, so we'll mute.
Jail Patrol 759 on court tech. Jail Patrol 759 on court. Yeah, court tech. We need Robert Challender back in room C for Judge Koenig, please.
Oh, it's me. It's not Judge Koenig.
Correction, Judge Stepka. I had him on my brain because yesterday, Tammy said, "We never see you in here anymore. We're gonna complain you don't come in here." Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm getting
fine.
old, Judge. It may be getting time.
No, don't worry about it.
My mom used to do that all the time when she would call us and take everybody's names. So she called you by your first and your middle name, you knew that.
Yeah, something was going on. All right, so here's Mr. Challender. So this is People versus Robert Gregory Challender, file 24-3058 SM1. Date and time of sentencing. The conviction here is attempted larceny by conversion under $200. So it's a 46-day maximum sentence. As a possibility, Mr. Challender, have you had the chance to go through the pre-sentence report that was with Mr. Hubble? The report was prepared by probation. Do you have a chance to go through it?
Yes.
Okay. Are the facts in the report accurate, or are there any changes or corrections?
No, I
or
want to
additions?
explain. She put in that report that I thought it was funny. That wasn't talking about stealing was funny. Well, I told her that I gave those 2 steps to my sister and to Laura, and they're like 4'8". And they asked me to go up in the cupboards every time I wanted to. Can you up and get that for me? And so I thought that was funny, but I didn't think stealing this stuff was funny.
Okay, so I'll take that into account.
It's also reflected that I'm not a square point attorney and I am.
Oh, okay. Yep, and there's a fee assessed for that. But the additional information indicates defendant accepted responsibility. Goes on.
I do accept.
Okay.
That's true.
And we'll get back to that in a second. And that he's an active CMH.
Yeah, I've spoken to them in like 6 months. And he's not adverse to talking to him again, but.
Well, okay.
Just by way of update, apparently he was taken into custody this morning, so he may have some other things to deal with, so I would, I guess, urge the court to maybe leave CMH and some of those other things to another day. And he would,
so did he get arrested for something else?
He did. He got arrested for some kind of theft offense. I don't know all the details. I'm the arraignment attorney on Monday, so I may get a chance to talk to him about that, but I didn't want to go into any of that at this point because it's just an allegation.
Is he actually charged at this point?
They took him into custody this morning. He was planning on appearing today, but he's been working. He had a littering case through the city and been working at cleaning up the pines, doing 40 hours of cleaning it up. We had been participating in that and stuff. So I think law enforcement knew where to find him and just happened to be this morning that they took him up.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. So by way of elocution, are there comments, Mr. Hubble?
Robert's been in trouble before. He's homeless. He is getting Social Security. I guess I'd ask the court to take that into consideration in terms of assessing fines and costs. I know that some jail time is recommended. As I say, I think probably Monday he'll be arraigned on any of the charges if the paperwork's ready by then, or certainly by Tuesday if he's in custody. So I don't think that a long jail sentence is, he's probably going to be facing something else, but it's certainly up to the court. He has got enough of a record that he's not very good at stealing because he keeps getting caught, so. But he did take responsibility in this case and has, admitted to doing wrong. He wants to apologize for it.
Okay, all right, thanks, Mr. Hubble. Mr. Challender, any comments you'd like to make, sir?
No, I agree with Mr. Hubble. I take responsibility and I do apologize. And I was going to pay that off on the third, the restitution. I was gonna pay that off on the third when I got my check. But that's gonna get suspended now, so my social security gets suspended, so. And I don't have my ID anyway on me or my card, so I don't know what to do about that, but I'll take care of that.
You see what his new case is?
No, I don't see anything in there.
Okay. So what did you get arrested for, yes?
I was arrested this morning for home invasion, 1st degree.
Okay. Well, all right.
I don't know anything more about it other than that's what he thinks the charge is. I have haven't seen any paperwork. I haven't talked to him.
They have not booked me yet.
All right, so don't talk about the facts. So, Mr. Challender, don't talk about the facts of this alleged home invasion case, okay?
Right.
All right, well, okay, there's a long criminal record here, which involves also a fair amount of prison stays over the years. This event was pretty callous, really theft of these stools from these folks.
Most of the prison looks like it was prior from 2010 convictions and before, so that's, I guess.
Yeah, looks like though 2019, he did 2 to 5 years on DV 30, so. Well, anyway, it's a long record nonetheless, so probation is not recommended. And Mr. Hubble worked out a nice resolution here for you, sir. He was able to get it reduced 1 year all the way down to a 46 days. So that's a good resolution for you. So anyway, probation is not recommended. There'll be no probation. I'm going to waive fines and costs given your financial situation. Plus there's restitution that you need to pay. But there's a $75 crime victims fee, $50 state fee. I will order the $275 attorney fee, and then restitution is $234.97. And under the facts of this case and your prior record, I believe the maximum sentence of 46 days is totally appropriate. So I'll order that with credit for all time served. So, okay, Mr. Challender?
Yes, sir. I can go.
All right, yep, you're all set. Good luck, sir. All right. Yep, thank you.
Just 46 days.
Yeah. Oops, I'm gonna mute us.
Hey, David. You're muted. You know how to unmute?
Okay, there we go.
Good. Haley, we're ready whenever the judge is.
Still trying to figure it out on this laptop here.
You're good. I can hear you, see you. Everything's fine.
Okay.
All right, we'll call the case of People versus David Feiger, L 254056, FY1, state time, a preliminary examination. Mr. Feiger is here with Ms. Conlon by Zoom, and then Ms. Roberts is here by Zoom for the people. So it looks like there's a misdemeanor plea offer here. Ms. Conlon, is that what Mr. Feiger wishes to do?
Ms. Roberts, was the attempt of CCW to be a 1-year misdemeanor or the 2.5-year felony? Because it's not clear from the ECC.
I don't know if you can do a 5-year as a 1-year
I
misdemeanor.
don't think you can. I think it's got to be a 4-year.
Yeah, so it must be the 2.5.
Okay, so it is a felony, Your Honor, and Mr. Feiger is just gonna waive his prelim today.
All right, very good. So, Mr. Feiger, you then had the chance to speak to Ms. Conlon about the nature and purpose of a preliminary examination. You understand what it's for, and you wish to waive the exam. Is that right, sir?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I signed the bind over order. Would you like to proceed to circuit court arraignment on the information then?
Yes, Your Honor, Mr. Feiger is aware of the nature of the charges against him and the maximum possible consequences for each, so we'd waive a reading, and he would plead not guilty at this time.
All right, we'll enter not guilty pleas for you, Mr. Feiger. The case will now be bound over to the circuit court for further proceedings. I'll continue the bond. The pretrial conference then in circuit court will be?
It'll be April 11th at 8 a.m.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yep, we're all
Hey,
set,
David,
everybody.
I'll talk to you before the 11th.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Your Honor. Have a good weekend.
You too. Thank you. Good luck, Mr. Feiger.
Thank you, Your Honor.